another Leetcode question to practice. In this video, there are two goals. The first goal is essentially to talk about the solution and do some coding for this specific question. And another thing is to explain how we should behave in a real interview, suppose this is something given. So let's get started. Remember, the first step in a real coding interview is to always try to understand the problem, ask some clarification questions if possible, and also think about some edge cases. So let's see. Top k frequent elements. So given a non-empty array of integers, return k most frequent elements. So suppose input is this, k is equal to 2, then we are going to return 1, 2. So let's see some notes. And you may assume k is always valid. So k is between 1 to the number of the unique elements. Okay, so I was thinking about if k is larger than the number of unique numbers within the nums array, what should we do? So I think this has a limitation, so we don't need to consider that edge case. And it also said that your algorithm's time complexity must be better than n log n, where n is a array size. Okay, and it's guaranteed that the answer is unique. So in other words, the set of the top k frequent elements is unique, and you can return the answer in any order. Alright, so I think I pretty much understand it. And so k is between 1 to the number of unique elements within nums, and it didn't say about the size of the nums input array. So what if it is empty array, whatever. So we could check this during the first step in our edge case checking. But other than that, I think we should be good. Okay, so what should we do? So the next step is about finding the solution. So actually I was thinking, suppose the input array is empty array, and it said, okay, so it says k is between 1 to the number of unique elements, and this equation, it actually says the number of unique elements within the input array is larger or equal to 1. So it means this one is never going to be empty. The nums input array never going to be empty. So we don't need to do edge case checking for that one as well. Alright, so let's really do the solution finding part. So how to solve this problem? So the first thing that comes to my mind is we could use a min heap to solve this problem. So first of all, we could get a hash map, doing one pass through the input number array, and get a hash map. So the key is a number and the value is a frequency. So for example, for this one, we will have key as 1. When key is 1, then value is 3. When key is 2, value is 2. When key is 3, value is 1. So something like that. And then we will have a priority queue, which the underlying implementation of the min heap is a priority queue. But for the min heap, we are going to so the comparison is based on the value of the frequency of the number. So let's say first of all we are going to put 1 3 into it, and then we put 2 2, and when it comes to 3 1, so the 3 has the number 3 has least frequency, so we are going to pop it from the main queue, from the main heap, and then finally we have number 1, number 2 within the main heap. So that's pretty much about the solution. So the runtime overall is going to be O n times log k, because the operation for the main heap insert pop is going to be log k. Yeah, so that's it about this solution. So since k is, so the worst case, if k is equal to the number of the elements within the nums, then it is going to be n log n. But at any time it should be no worse than n log n in our case. So let's get started and do some coding work. So for coding, first of all, correctness is a top priority, and also readability. And at the same time, don't be too slow, because there is the real limitation in a real coding interview. So let's see. First of all, we are going to have a map from integer to integer. Let's say this is num frequency. It's new hash map. So we are going to iterate through the numbers. So num free.put num and num free.get, or default as num 0 and plus 1. Alright, so until now we have the number and the corresponding frequency. So the next step for us to do is to have the min heap. So what should we put in the min heap? Actually, I'm thinking about defining another class. Let's call it num stats. So we have two things. The first one is a num itself, and then the second one is a frequency. So we give it a constructor num stats and int frequency. So this dot num is equal to num. This dot frequency is equal to a frequency. Alright, so we will have a priority queue of num stats. So let's say it is min heap. So it's going to be new priority queue for so initially we have the capacity initialized as k. Let's say initialize as k plus 1. So let's pass in the comparator. So the comparator okay, of num stats. So you have override the public compare. We will have num stats and 1 num stats and 2. So we are going to return n1 dot free minus n2 dot free. Alright, so then we are going to go through the num free map. So I'll say int num from num free dot keyset. So the int free is equal to num free dot get num. So first of all, we will push min heap. So this is QUE. Okay, there's an extra U here. So main heap dot I think it's dot add new num stats. This is num and this is free. And then if min heap dot size, if the size of the min heap is larger than k, then we will have min heap dot pool. So we are going to pop the top element from the in heap, and at the end we are supposed to have k elements within the min heap. and now we will have int say top k is equal to new int this is k. Okay, so I is equal to 0, I is smaller than k, plus I, and top ki is equal to min heap dot pool dot num. So finally we are going to return top k. And so that's pretty much it about the coding part. So this is the first part, to turn the number array into the map. This is the second one, to go through the map and at the same time maintain a min heap, and at the end we dump the elements from the min heap into the array to be returned. Alright, so remember, after your coding complete, it's time for you to do some testing. So for testing, first of all, we go through some simple test case, do some sanity check, checking the logic, and at the same time explain how this piece of code is gonna work. So for the first part, so suppose we have the input as this and k as 2. So for the first part, we are going to turn the num-free into a map, which is like this. I'll just copy paste here. And then next time we push the min heap, to the min heap. So first of all, we will push min heap so first of all we push 1-3 into it. Since the size is not larger than k, so we are okay. And then we are going to push 2-2 into it. And then when we push, after we push 3-1, then the size is larger than 2, so we are going to pull from the min heap. So the min heap is going to be based on the frequency, which is this one. So we are going to push the element with the least frequency from the min heap. Now the min heap is something like this. And finally, we are going to go through, we are going to pop the top k elements from the min heap. So I think it should generally work. Let's give it a shot. Okay, so it's accepted, and okay, so everything looks good. At this time, I think we are done with this coding question. If you have any question about this puzzle or about the solution, feel free to leave some comments below. If you feel this video pretty helpful, please give me a thumb up and help subscribe to this channel. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.